I assume you've seen this beautiful man on your screen before. Whether it's for a good or a bad reason is a matter of preference, but whether you hate him or love him, is Zohran Mamdani a good mayor of New York? And how did he manage to get elected? What are his core platform beliefs? What promises has he made along the way? And how did he find success? And does he follow through? We will cover it all. Of course, he's very early in his career, but is he at least attempting? Hint, yes he is. So let's get to business.
In a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
On the street lamp, red face flame by the light. I'm going away. I'm going away.
Let's start with the campaign strategies that allowed such a radical socialist to win the 2025 November 4th election. First, and probably most well known to the general public, is his approach to social media. He utilized viral, human-centric, short-form videos across Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. He focused on where younger voters spend most of their time, while using the humor and style that works for them. He also was careful to be inclusive by creating multilingual content for individuals who cannot speak English. He followed that up with an automated direct contact strategy. This connects to his social media presence by using low-cost chatbots automation tools, ManyChat, to convert his social media engagement. This turned his social media presence into an internal database of already 45,000 active volunteers and donor clicks. Most people don't know what chatbots can do, so let's cover what exactly ManyChat did to make a change with Zohran. ManyChat uses keyword triggers. Users comment a specific word on a post to start a private chat. The chatbot then sends an automated direct message with a link or a request for info. Every person who replies is automatically saved to an internal contact list. The key benefits that Mamdani saw from this was 24/7 engagement. That was handled through routine replies and lead collection at any time, day or night. ManyChat also has list building. The chatbot collects email addresses, phone numbers, and user profiles. All this without manual effort from the Mamdani team. Last but certainly not least is the low cost. ManyChat services operate on tiered pricing, based on an active subscriber count, allowing Mamdani to scale with that. But enough of the chatbot. Back to the Zohran Mamdani campaign strategies. The next big piece of his pie was his grassroots mobilization. He built a massive coalition of over 100,000 volunteers through localized in-person canvassing and community-focused gatherings, knocking on over 1.6 million doors across New York. This is what pushed him over the edge with voters, the personal effort. But strategies mean absolutely nothing if you have no substance behind them. So let's move on from his campaign strategies and talk about the content that he ran on. The core platform and policies Zohran Mamdani had while running for mayor. The first one, rent stabilization. He proposed a 4-year rent freeze on all rent-stabilized housing units. But the blockages are political and structural obstacles. The Rent Guideline Board, RGB, Mamdani had to replace 6 members and appoint 6 new ones to a 9-member board. He had to overcome past resistance and shift balance towards a tenant-focused majority. Moderate board members pushed back against what they viewed as a predetermined outcome, leading to high-profile resignations, including Christine Smith, in protest ahead of the vote. The industry and legal battles. Landlord lawsuits, real estate groups, and property owners filed lawsuits in July of 2026. Prominent attorneys led the lawsuit to overturn the rent freeze, calling the board's process a rigged sham and an abuse of mayoral power. The rising operational costs. Landlords argued in court that the city ignored soaring building expenses, including 11% spike in fuel costs and a 10.5% jump in insurance premiums. This makes the 0% adjustment irrational and financially damaging to them. The next policy he ran on was public transit, advocating for fast and free citywide bus services. The problems in the way of this is the control of the MTA. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority is a state-run agency, not a city one. The mayor has to depend on Governor Kathy Hochul and the state lawmakers in Albany to change fare structures. The political pushback. Governor Hochul and other leaders have resisted replacing reliable fare collection with new taxes or subsidies. They prefer to expand targeted discounts, such as fares for low-income riders instead. The massive cost, eliminating fares entirely, would cost the transit system roughly $800 million to $1 billion per year in lost revenue. That is a loss that the state and local budget currently struggle to absorb. The next policy is affordability initiatives. Campaigned on universal childcare and establishing a city-owned grocery store. The problems in the way of this is, number one, the massive deficit. Funding new public programs is difficult. The city deals with a multi-billion-dollar budget shortfall. The high capital costs, allocating $70 million for 5 basic grocery locations, diverts taxpayer funds. It has to be pulled from other critical municipal needs. Operational limits. City officials note that these budget-constrained stores may lack standard features. The features that might be missing include services like butchers and hot food. The next policy is taxing the wealth. Zohran proposed a 2% tax increase on corporate and individuals earning over $1 million annually. This is necessary to fund the social programs. The problems he faces with this is the state approval needed. City tax changes need authorization from New York State legislator and Governor Kathy Hochul. They have expressed strong opposition to the broad tax increase. Revenue uncertainty. Critics and fiscal analysts argue that high corporate taxes could yield lower than expected returns if fewer corporations meet a high profit threshold. And the final policy Zohran ran on was minimum wage. He supported reaching a $30 minimum wage by the year 2030. The problems that he's facing with this is legal and jurisdiction limits. Authority to change minimum wage and income tax rates rests primarily with the New York State legislator and governor. The city cannot do it by itself. And the political opposition he faces. New York Governor Kathy Hochul and fiscal conservatives have opposed statewide tax hikes. This is creating a legislative gridlock for Mayor Zohran Mamdani's fiscal agenda. Let's move on to the promises he's made while running. The housing and affordability. He wants to implement a rent freeze for over 2 million residents in rent-stabilized apartments. He wants affordable housing, construct 200,000 new units of publicly subsidized affordable housing over the decade. Municipal grocery stores. Open a city-owned grocery store in each of the 5 boroughs to lower food costs. Then transportation. Free buses. Permanently cut fares on all New York City buses. Bus lanes. Expand priority and center running bus lanes to speed up transit times. Social programs and governance. Universal childcare. Provide universal childcare for children ages 6 weeks to 5 years. Taxes. Raise income tax for corporations and the wealthy and New York residents. And small businesses. Appoint a dedicated official to cut red tape for local small business. But now that we heard of everything that he's promised, let's move on to things that he's actually done. First is the rent freezes. Right now, the scope covers approximately 1 million rent-stabilized housing units across New York City. The duration is 1 to 2 year lease renewals. The effective date takes effect for leasing beginning on or after October 1st, 2026. It runs through September 30th. 2027. Approval vote passed with a 7-1 by the city's rent guidelines. Landlord lawsuits. Property owners filed lawsuits in the Staten Island Supreme Court to block the freeze. They're alleging the board manipulated data and bowed to mayoral pressure. There are some mixed community opinions. On platforms like Reddit, opinions are mixed. Tenants praise the immediate cost relief, while critics and owners argue it threatens building maintenance and property upkeep. Next is Zohran's housing promise. This has not happened yet. He has formally unveiled an official 10-year housing blueprint, though, dubbed the block-by-block housing plan for a new era. This commits to the goal of building 200,000 new units and preserving 200,000 existing ones. So, some progress. And for the municipal grocery stores, he has not been able to put a municipal grocery store, but he has done some work on it. Zohran has done the budgeting allocation. Mayor Mamdani allocates $70 million in capital funds within the city's $124.7 billion budget. This will be used to build 5 public grocery stores, 1 in each borough. Then he has decided on the site selection. The city announced the locations for the first 2 sites, the Peninsula in Hunts Point, the Bronx, and La Marquette in East Harlem, Manhattan. Sites in Brooklyn's and Queens and Staten Island are still being determined. The operational model has also been worked on. The stores will be owned by the city but managed by private companies. The city is currently seeking experienced private grocery operators and is asking them to submit proposals to run the supermarkets. Now, the most exciting news is that they've decided on the openings. The first stores is projected to open in the Bronx towards the end of 2027. The remaining locations are targeted for completion by 2029. This aligns with the end of Zohran's 4-year term. Then let's move on to the free buses. Zohran has not been able to complete this one either, but unlike the other ones, this one is being shifted to a different goal. Mamdani released a 51-page transit blueprint titled The Next Stop, Fast Buses, Better Service, focusing heavily on speeding up transit. They plan to do this through bus lane expansion, all-door boarding, and streetscape improvements. At the same time, the free fare goal takes a temporary backseat. It seems that with this one, they're opting for a smaller alternative rather than pushing for free buses. Now let's talk about the bus lanes expansion priority in the center running bus lanes to speed up the transit times. Mamdani is actively working on this one right now. This ties in with the Next Stop Fast Buses Better Service that they're focusing on. They have a few completed projects. They have Madison Avenue double bus lanes. With this, they are extending the new double bus lane from East 23rd Street to East 42nd Street, improving the speeds for 92,000 daily riders. Next is Lexington Avenue redesign, completing offset bus lane updates, shifting the bus lanes 1 lane away from the curve. This streamlines traffic flow. And the next one is Ordem Road, broke ground on the Bronx corridor to add offset bus lanes from Sedgwick Avenue to Boston Road for 130,000 daily riders. Now let's talk about the universal childcare. He wants to provide universal childcare for children ages 6 weeks to 5. He has not completed this, but again, he has made progress. Free 2K launch. He partnered up with Governor Kathy Hochul to roll out 2,000 free 2K seats. This is a type of early schooling. This is for 2-year-olds starting in high-need school districts, District 6, 10, 18, 23, 27. Next is a municipal worker child care, creating the Little Apple, a pilot program offering 100% free full-day care for child ages 6 weeks to 3 years old. This is for city workers at the David N. Dickinson Municipal Building. 3K and special education expansion also added more than 100,000 new free 3K seats and expanded specialized programs for children with disabilities across 14 school districts. Family engagement. Zohran launched a New York City parent survey. They are in partnership with the Robin Hood Foundation to directly collect feedback from families on scheduling needs and implementation. Now to the taxes. Raise income taxes for corporations and wealthy New York residents. Zohran Mamdani has not yet raised income taxes on corporations and wealthy New York residents. This is because changes to the city income and corporate taxes need state-level authorization in Albany. But, like in others, progress is being made, like the luxury non-primary resident tax. While broad income tax hikes are stalled, this administration successfully enacted a targeted annual fee/charge on luxury properties valued over $5 million owned by non-residents who do not live there full-time in the city. This is projected to raise at least $500 million. And now onto the small businesses, to appoint a dedicated official to cut red tape for local small businesses. Mamdani is again in the progress with this one. New York business owners are now paired with a dedicated city case manager. They help guide them through permits, inspectors, and opening processes. They have over 50 reforms unveiled and sweeping packages to end redundant permits, removing the separate frozen dessert permit for restaurants serving ice cream, and ending the annual permit renewals for barbershops. And he established a whole of government approach. This is a method where different public agencies, departments, and ministries work together. They are a work group that continuously reviews and eases the burden of local entrepreneurs. On top of all that, the small things that he does from time to time is the things that really keep his approval up, like the pothole repairs when he went around fixing 100,000 potholes in New York. This gave an immediate and tangible improvement during his time in office. He also rejected his pay raise to show his solidarity with the working class. Although this doesn't really do much, the symbolic meaning is appreciated by the people of New York. Now is the time to finally answer the question at hand. I know, after all that we talked about, it's a pretty hard question to answer. Of course he's good. He is one of the best mayors that New York has seen in a while. That is shown through his approval ratings, his dedication, care, and the time he puts in. The only real bummer about this is that he can't run for president in the future because he was born in Uganda. But at least we have him in New York, making the everyday lives of New Yorkers a little bit better. But now that this is over, if you still feel off about Zohran and socialism that he brings, I'd recommend you consider watching my video on socialism. I appreciate the support. I thank you for watching. And if you want a Zohran for yourself and you live in Michigan, consider Abdul El Sayed for his race. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing.